This is my review of the 2017 Diamondback Mission 1. I picked up this bike for $2,000 from Diamondback, and I've had it for about 5 or 6 months now, and I've done all sorts of riding, stuff from riding bike parks, to riding cross country. So I think I have a pretty good perspective on what this bike is like to ride. So I'm going to start off just going over some of the components of the bike. I guess we'll start at the front here with the suspension. The Fox 34 is a great fork. 160 millimeters of travel. Some people will complain that it's the 34 and not the 36, but for me, I weigh pretty light. I'm 140 pounds with all my riding gear on, and 34 can handle everything that I've thrown at it, jumps and drops wise. So it's definitely a good fork that can handle anything you can throw at it. These wheels, the Diamondback Blanchard wheels, they're also very good. They're 28 millimeter internal width, and I've only had to tighten up the spokes a little bit once so far, but they've been true, and have no real bends or dents or anything in them, so they're really good for house brand wheels from Diamondback. These WTB tires are also really good. One of the first things I would do if you do pick up this bike is take out the tubes and run these tubeless. These rims do come tubeless ready, which is really nice. You just need, and it also comes with the tubeless valve stems, so you just need the sealant and you throw them in there, and it's awesome. I've haven't gotten a flat yet with these tires, running them tubeless, so it's definitely worth the upgrade. You can run lower pressures and you don't have to worry about flats, which is really nice. One thing I did change out on this bike is I went from the stock SRAM level T brakes to some Shimano brakes. The second day I had the bike, I actually pulled up on the back brake and it started leaking back here. So I tried to get that replaced by Diamondback, but since it's not really their part, they couldn't really do anything about it. So I just switched over to SRAM, pulled my SRAM brake, or Shimano, sorry, switched over to Shimano from my brakes that I have on my dirt jump bike. And these work really good. Nothing wrong with the level T's, it's just that that one that leaked, I kind of wanted to just switch over to SRAM. I have all the tools to bleed them and everything, so I thought it would be a smart move to do that. So I still have the stock SRAM centerline rotors on there, which work really good. No complaints there. So this Diamondback handlebar, 35 millimeter bar clamp width here, which is nice. 780 mil wide, which is really good. Pretty wide, which is nice. It's just a little tough fitting it through trees sometimes. 50 millimeter Diamondback stem, no problems with that either. Headset, no problems with that. The SRAM NX drivetrain works really good. Actually, I've actually hit this, beat it up a few times, and I hit a rock and kind of locked it in the open position. Busted it up a little bit, and I was able to fix it, and it's shifting perfectly. The mech hanger didn't bend or anything, so that's really cool. The SRAM NX drivetrain's been really good. Nice shifting on it. For an entry-level drivetrain, it's really not that bad. Shifter is very nice too. Works really good. Having the 42 tooth gear is awesome. It's just a really good drivetrain for entry level. These Diamondback pedals are also really good. These pins are massive, and they feel awesome. They're super grippy. They're not plastic pedals, so they're a little heavier, but what you gain in the durability of metal over plastic is worth it. So these are great pedals that come with the bike. Raceface cranks, zero problems with these either. They've handled every drop or jump I've thrown at them, no problems with that. Same thing with the chain ring, no bends on it. I have hit it a few times on some logs, no problems from that. I've never dropped the chain on this either. I've ridden multiple days at bike parks and multiple very rocky trails, and I've never dropped the chain, which is awesome. Same thing with the bottom bracket. That's totally good. Zero problems with that. No creaking or anything. I've had it for about 5 or 6 months. I do keep it lubricated, but no creaks or anything like that. This Fox Float DPS shock, also really good. Shock handled everything I've thrown at it. I've bottomed it out a few times, but that's not the end of the world. So you can add the volume spacers here if you do find yourself bottoming it out, which is nice. And the lockout works really good. Using the mid position. I use the mid position for climbing just to get some compliancy in the rear end for grip, which is nice. I have my tube mounted up here and my pump mounted up here, but it works good. So the one thing I definitely would recommend upgrading about this bike is the dropper post, or lack thereof. There is no dropper post that comes on this bike. So I got this X-Fusion Maniac dropper post for 170 bucks, which is pretty cheap. It was a little bit of a pain to install, but the good thing about this bike is it's dropper post ready, so you can just internally route it up in here and it works like a charm. I could have probably gotten away with getting a 150 mil drop. This is a 125 mil drop. But other than that, it works really good. This style of remote is really, really nice. You can swivel this around and put it anywhere. So that's definitely the number one thing I'd recommend upgrading about this bike is the dropper post for sure. It's just, you can't even compare riding a regular post and having to stop and move it up and down. This is just the best if you want to pedal and you also want to get the seat out of the way for more technical stuff. You can't even compare. You have to have one these days, basically. It's a necessity, and there's lots of cheaper options out there that still work good. So I definitely recommend that. This WTB seat, also very good, pretty comfortable, lightweight, no creaking yet, so that's cool. The frame, yeah, I've had zero problems with the frame, obviously. The paint looks really, really good. There's like little specks and flakes in it which look awesome, and it looks glittery, which is really nice. So all the linkage, I do keep it lubricated. I try to wash it out and keep it lubricated as much as possible, but everything is stayed tight, which is nice, and no creaks or anything like that from it. So overall, I definitely recommend this bike to anyone looking for a great do-it-all bike. This is a 160 mil travel front and rear bike. It can handle almost anything you can throw at it. It works for cross-country rides, but obviously it really likes to go down hills and ride rougher stuff. But like I said earlier, I take it on everything from bike parks to cross-country rides to more trail, all mountain riding. I do it all with this bike, and it's handled it amazing. Handled everything I've thrown at it. So yeah, I can't recommend this bike more for the money. I mean, it's just awesome, and really the only downside is not coming with a dropper post. Other than that, this bike is absolutely fantastic, worth every single penny. It's just a great bike, and I think last time I checked on Jensen USA, it's up for like $1,500 or $1,600. So at that price, you cannot go wrong with this bike. Anything that you don't like, just switch it out for cheap. All the major stuff other than the dropper post is awesome. The suspension is just amazing, and all the other parts work really good. So I definitely recommend this bike. One thing I forgot to mention, the rear end is non-boost. It's regular 12 by 142, but the front end is boost. So you're kind of mismatched there because the industry is obviously going towards boost, but it's not the end of the world. These wheels are definitely stiff. I haven't felt any flex in them or anything, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, I really cannot recommend this bike more. I definitely recommend it to anyone looking for a sort of all-mountain, do-it-all bike. Obviously, you're not going to be winning downhill races on this or jumping huge crazy gaps, doing 10-foot drops. But this bike can handle a lot of stuff. I've taken it off probably 5-foot drops, big jumps. It's just awesome, and it handles everything. It pedals pretty good. It's not the lightest bike in the world, but you do have a very capable descender here. So If you want a bike that definitely descends better than climbs, I'd recommend this. You know, if you want something that climbs better, you probably want a shorter travel bike and something a little lighter. But if you want to focus on descending, I definitely recommend this bike. So nothing but good things for me to say about this bike. It's absolutely awesome. Diamondback is absolutely killing it with their cheaper bikes. You know, cheaper than a lot of the other companies out there. Cheap money-wise, but the quality is absolutely awesome. This is my second Diamondback, and I've had zero problems with both of them. Frame-wise and all the other Diamondback components, they've just been working for me. So definitely recommend this bike to anyone looking for a great dual suspension all mountain bike. So thanks for watching my review.